Good afternoon, everyone. Right. How is everyone? Tired? Okay, we need to be excited, so we're going to put some excitement in this. My name is Roger Hennis, as I was introduced. I work for Deloitte. My official capacity is as a senior manager of consulting in Deloitte. Does anyone know has anyone heard of the company Deloitte? Does anyone know what Deloitte does? You don't know what Deloitte does, but you heard the name. Okay. So you've heard of PricewaterhouseCoopers? You've heard of Ernst & Young? Right. So Deloitte is traditionally one of the big four accounting firms, but over and above that, where we are now, our strength is not necessarily in accounting. Our strength is in consulting and helping companies move to the future. And that's what I like to do. And what we actually do a lot of work around, I'm doing a lot of work around helping governments and helping companies reimagine their future and use things like digital technologies to get there. So this is something of excitement for me. So without much further ado, I'm going to start with the video, and then I'm going to come back and have a conversation with you guys.
It's not every day that a Prime Minister shows you how he does his banking.
Here is my bank account.
But Estonia's head of state, Andrus Ansip, has a story to tell, and it starts with that little blue card he's slipping out of his wallet. From Prime Minister to preschooler, more than 80% of Estonians already have one, just 7 years after the first national ID card was issued. With its encoded digital information, the ID card opens up a world of services. File your tax return, ride the bus, check your children's homework assignments. And if all of that isn't enough, Estonia's 1.3 million people can also use their cell phones to access that digital information, which means Guno Beck doesn't need change for the parking meters in downtown Tallinn, Estonia's capital city.
Yes, we like it. E-living.
It's hard to imagine a country experiencing a more astonishing leap forward in technology. When the Iron Curtain fell and Estonia emerged from 51 years of Soviet occupation, only half the people here had a telephone. 18 years later, more than 2/3 are using the internet.
Linnar Viik, often referred to as Estonia's internet guru, grew up in Tallinn. The Tallinn Viik lives in today is one of the most wired and wireless places on Earth.
Nobody asks any longer that, is that a useful piece of plastic?
Viik made the national ID card popular by making it a tool of the people, not something to be used against them.
With the help of this card or digital identity which I'm holding, I can log in to a government portal and know and learn what government knows about me.
This ID card is like key to accessing the data.
Kalle Arula is deputy director at the Estonian Informatics Center, where his job is to put the country's services online in a way that works.
Yeah, it's e-government, that the government does the work for the people, not that people have to surf and find the pieces. And there are like thousands of e-services, but they just get lost.
20,000 people use this e-access to their government every day. And despite a massive cyber attack that shut down government websites for weeks in 2007, most people seem confident their personal data is safe. One of the most popular services is buying bus passes using their ID cards. Estonians don't have to show or use the card to get on a bus, so there is a chance to ride for free, which is called riding like a rabbit. It works unless the e-police make a random check. Riders with cards that don't show a credit back on the central database are off to a waiting van for a lecture, a fine, and maybe a long walk home. Not everyone or everything is wired in Estonia. This is a country struggling in the global recession. while the ferries cut across the Baltic Sea from Finland, bringing shoppers looking for bargains, and tourists spend their cash in Tallinn's old city. 8% of Estonians are out of work. But no matter how tough times are, there's no changing course.
And it is very easy to find all the documents.
For Prime Minister Ansep, governing without paper is routine, and his personal business gets done with the click of a keypad.
Okay, now signature.
This time, it's an opportunity to transfer what he called pocket money to his daughter's account, using his mobile phone.
Now it's done. And my daughter Lisa got $10.
Lucky Lisa.
Thanks to you.
Another example of what Estonians call a comfortable system of e-government and e-life, and that the Prime Minister likes to joke about.
Our people, they are, let's say, quite lazy people. We like to use very comfortable internet-based e-solutions.
Which may explain why the one place Estonians are willing to wait in line is in the citizenship office, where identity cards are issued. In Tallinn, Estonia, I'm Daljit Dhaliwal reporting for World Focus.
Hello. Okay, so did everyone, what did you think of the video? Sorry? How old is it? That's a good question. It's probably like 5, 7 years old. Why? Okay. So it wasn't about, good point. The main thing there was about concepts, right? Had anyone heard of Estonia before they saw the video? Did you know about Estonia? So a lot of people knew about Estonia, right? And the reason why Estonia is popular or known because it's supposed to be the most or digitally driven, is the #1 country in the world for digital, right? Everything operates off of, you saw they had an ID card, and with that ID card you can do anything in Estonia. You don't use cash, you don't use money. So I can get in the bus, I can check my health records, I can pay for prescriptions, and that is Nevada. So with one card, you put it in your laptop and you can do anything, which is amazing, right? So I gave that context because what I wanted to do, Jason, you go to the next slide. What I wanted to do, the next one. Right. What I wanted to do was give that as a kind of background and do some thought generation as to, that is a country that has said, we're going to use digital and internet technologies to allow our citizens to be able to do anything, access government services, and I can also access services like water, light, and so forth. So not that I'm trying to bias you towards, that's where I want you to think. But the context of this is, since you guys are the next generation, right? And the one thing that this government, which I'm assuming that you're all aware of, we've had our new Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, has very much said she wants to make Barbados digital. And she wants to make this a e-economy, smart Barbados. Are you all aware of that? You're not aware of that? You are. Is everybody aware of that? That she wants, right. So the Prime Minister is very much about making Barbados use digital technologies to help move us ahead. And a lot of it ties in with, that is the way the world operates today. If I want to, and everyone here does that, I can guarantee you all of you have, or a significant amount of you have the ability to chat with your friends using things like Snapchat. Does that sound familiar? The thing that you don't allow your parents to get? Yes? So things like Snapchat and you do your homework, a number of you, well, I don't know all of you, but I'm starting to see in schools, we're using Google Classrooms to do work. But a lot of that is using technology to allow us to do things more productively, right? And I think the government is trying to move us forward in that direction to eventually get into like where Estonia is, where the whole country is. But what I wanted to gather from you, the goal is not for me to come up and do a presentation, is really to get your thoughts. Since you guys are generation Y or Z, or I'm not sure which one it is, but you guys are the future, and you live your life very much on these things, for those of you who have them, or an iPad or a computer. Am I correct? That's how you communicate with friends, that's how you chat. When you go to events with your friends, you sit down next to one another, your phones, and chat to the person next to you, but on your phone. Does that sound familiar? Not really, that's not true. Not at all. But the whole idea is, what is your vision for Barbados? Because you're not always going to be in school, and you're not always going to be young. And I assume that all of you, or a good number of you, know what you want to be when you leave school, what you want to do. How many people know what they want, or think they know what they want to do when they leave school? For those who are not left yet, how many of us think, so you have an idea of what you want to do, right? And are there jobs like you want to be a lawyer or a doctor? How many people want to be doctors and lawyers? I didn't think I see any hands. I think you want to do what are more exciting jobs, well, newer jobs, correct? So I wanted to get your sense in terms of what is the Barbados you want to live in? What are the kind of jobs and challenges that you want to do, right, and face? What are your, the second line, what do you see of your future? You know what Barbados is now? You've heard what your parents have said it has been, but what do you want for Barbados? And I'm going to ask you questions. I want to see people. Is there another microphone? Yeah. So we're going to pass the microphone around to get your feedback. It's fully interactive. What do you want to see in the future? Where do you see the areas of opportunity? Like things that should be happening that are not happening, that you would like to be happening? Because the youth should have a voice. Do you agree? Would you all like to have a voice in what's happening in Barbados? Yes? Right, so share, this is the opportunity to share what are some of the areas of opportunity that you see for the future. And last but not least, what things you would like to see, but you think there are obstacles, whether it's mindsets of older people, whether it's people not asking you what you want, whether it's that, I don't know, people just do it one way, they want to change. What are the obstacles you see, right? So I'll ask those questions, and I want to get the microphone passed around. Anybody volunteer to say what is their vision for Barbados in 6 years, 10 years, 15 years? Anyone wants to start off? There's someone at the back. Before you start, I was just advised that there are prizes for the more engaged people. Yes? There's not a BMW or anything so, but there are prizes. So if you keep quiet, you're not going to win a prize. Go ahead.
Electric vehicles. Those, if you have those, right? Then wouldn't that put all of the big oil companies out of work? So like, if you like bring those in later, then it will help ease in, and more people would not lose their jobs.
So are you saying you're for them, or you're saying that you think they're good but they shouldn't come in yet because a lot of business is built on oil? You're for them or you're against them?
They shouldn't come in just yet, but later in the future, probably the next 5 or 6 years, yes.
Okay. You know the government has a plan to bring in electric vehicles, all they know. They're going to change the buses to be in electric, right? Your point is valid because we have a system that's built around oil and gas, but electric is good, and you know the whole world is moving to electric, yeah? So that's a good point. Any other suggestions, comments?
Good evening. The island should be more financially stable first, and then they can do the whole card stuff and start it in the schools where a parent can actually identify their child's marks digitally first in primary school, and then go up before you can say, I want to do it, my income tax and stuff with that identity card. Right. So you should start small. And in the next 10 years, maybe go that big, like they were.
So you're in favor of it?
Yeah.
But you think we need to be financially stable?
Yeah, we need to be financially stable. You can't just jump to that. No, you would end up more bankruptcy than you are right now.
Right.
And push more into the science of renewable energy, green energy.
Right.
And learning more about how we can increase our water resources here instead of importing more water.
Those are very, so the comments so far are excellent comments. Both of them speak, and everyone give a clap for them. But both speak to renewable energy, both speak to going green. You know the concept of going green? Being green, being climate friendly, being eco-friendly, and so forth, which is very important. What I will say to the comment you made, the government is actually looking at doing both as well. So one, financial stability. If you see the budget and the manifesto, the first 6 months was stabilizing the country, right? In the same manifesto, they speak to going digital. They actually talking about having a national ID card that will be a digital ID card. The comment the Prime Minister made is that they were going to do it before, but the cards were not efficient. They had to throw them away, but they're going that way. They're not necessarily going to do everything you saw there at one time, but they're putting the foundation in place. So they will issue an ID card that will have a chip and a pin in it. They had cards already, and that card is a foundation for being able to access services. And they're starting to move some of the services in government online, not all at the same time, but they're moving some online. So we are starting to head there. And if we keep there and go at a good pace, we will be in Estonia maybe by 2025, 2027. So good comments.
Good afternoon. To answer the first question, what is your vision for Barbados 2025? My vision is that we are more resourceful, not just as in natural resources or such, but more like human resources. Because as you said, before I remember that you commented and said, yes, if some people want to be doctors or lawyers, but I realized you didn't mention teachers, because teachers are relevant, of course, and also other careers that are not very dominant here in Barbados. We need more human resources if we are going to move forward and to become better, because if we don't have more human resources, then there's going to be a distribution in other countries and Barbadians are going to be moving out, and then here we would just go to ruins. So for me, a vision for Barbados would be to have more human resources.
So that is an excellent comment. I'll clarify something you said. I said doctors and lawyers because that from 1960, 1970 was the way parents thought. Right. Correct. So you need to change mindset. But I do think mindsets have changed. Well, I'm a parent with a daughter who's 14. I don't think my generation is thinking I want my daughter to be a doctor or a lawyer. But I think my parents wanted doctors or lawyers because back in that age, those are the ones that were seen as, if you're a doctor or a lawyer, if the parents feel important, their child is Dr. Hennis or Dr. whatever or lawyer. I think that's a bit out of fashion now. Too many, right? But I think also people have opened up to other types of jobs. And I think back in those days, we didn't know what other jobs there were, and they weren't the capabilities for it. The point you made about teachers is a very strong point, and I will highlight this. Do you know what does anyone know what the number one country in the world, what's rated as the number one country in the world for education? Does anyone know? Put up your hand. No, the best education system in the world. In the world. Which one is it? Finland. She gets a prize. Nothing to you then. Give her a round of applause. Finland has the number one education system in the world. Do you know one of the contributing causes to Finland having the number one education system in the world? The teachers. You know, the teaching profession is the most highly respected and one of the highest paying jobs in Finland. You need to have a master's to be a teacher. You're more respected than a doctor or a lawyer in Finland. People struggle to become teachers, and everyone doesn't make the grade. And because of that, they turn it upside down. Everyone wants to be a teacher because it's the most respected job. Because the government realizes if we respect teachers and pay them high, and you need a master's and everything, so it helps train the people that are below. So what you're saying is very correct. And Finland ranks highly in terms of digital countries, in terms of doing business, in terms of the scale of happiest countries in the world. People who live in Finland don't want to go to the States, don't want to live anywhere else but Finland. So your point is very valid, but they're focused on human resources and people, and Finnish people are extremely happy. They do well. Skype and those things come from that part, the Nordic countries. Yeah. Her other point about human resources is very important, which is kind of the message we're saying, that if a country invests in its people, that's what makes a country powerful. Does that make sense? So if you focus on educating you guys to be what you want to be, and Finland has seen that, because what it's done is that it has created a class of entrepreneurs, it's created a class of business people, it's created a class of companies that are unlike others because of the way the whole system works, right? You teach them well, you teach them, in artificial intelligence, the fancy systems you've seen, they come out and they can go and create companies and become millionaires and billionaires. Yes? So I think that's where we need to look at, not about us becoming millionaires and billionaires, but really helping persons like yourself be all that you want to be with the entire system. Okay. Any other, one more person, one or two more people, any other thoughts about your vision, opportunity, or any obstacles? Gentleman over here in the corner.
Hi, afternoon.
Hi.
Yes, please. His name is Chad. I want to answer the third question. What are some of the areas of opportunity that you see? And this might seem a little far off, but not for Barbados, just by itself, because I think we could do better as a region, Caribbean, in a sense, where if you could somehow manage to eliminate the boundaries which are physical, like ocean, so what I'm looking at is like easing travel between islands, so that it's seamless. Like, the Caribbean is almost like the States, like traveling from state to state, should be traveling to island, and that way you can market it as a region. So like the Caribbean should be able to host Olympics, you know what I mean? So like one stage in Jamaica, come back Barbados, St. Lucia, and not just Olympics, because like for my arena, like esports, we look at doing things in Europe. You do a European tour and you have legs in different cities in USA. So like I was saying, if we could somehow get over that boundary, we could start holding more events and stuff like that. Like WRC too. We could hold like WRC is World Rallycross Championship, and we have some good tracks. So it could be a thing you could do, But yeah.
So I think that's a good point to round off on. Everyone clap. Because the one thing we realize, I don't know how many of you have friends that live in other countries, Trinidad, Jamaica? You realize you get along with them, you learn a lot from them because they come up with a different culture. But the one thing is that you realize that all Caribbean people get along with one another. You realize that? We are more alike than we are different. Does that make sense? Right. Now, if you can remove the boundaries at the governmental level, and we have, what he said is perfect, if we have ease of travel and interaction, then you find that, and we operate as a Caribbean, which is what the European Union does, which is why it is so powerful, right? What Soviet Union did and so forth, the United States. If you can operate as a union and work together, we can market the Caribbean as a Caribbean rather than trying to market Barbados and trying to market Bahamas. Tourists don't say, I'm coming to Barbados, or they say, I'm going to the Caribbean for my holiday. Correct? They say, I'm going to the Caribbean, or I'm going to Barbados. Or they say, I went to the Caribbean. They don't say, I went to St. Lucia. They say, I went to the Caribbean. That's what they see us. We see ourselves as, I'm Bajan, I know them Lucians. But the way they see it is the Caribbean. So we need to work better together, and the sharing of cultures and diversity. The one thing I'll say, which is unfortunate, I'll wrap up on this, is that when I was younger, which was a long time ago, because I know I look like 24, but I'm actually 52. But when I was younger, right, you used to pay $200 to park from here to St. Lucia. You pay $300 to park to St. Kitts. Now to go to St. Lucia is what, $500-600? Right, whatever the figure is. I remember doing a Liat tour around the Caribbean, and it cost me $800, and I went about 5 islands in however many days. So, but you get to see other countries, you get to realize we all are the same. So the point is very valid, and that helps in terms of us understanding how we can work together as a Caribbean region, how we can tackle problems. So I'll wrap up there since my time is up. What I will say is that two things. One, we have to think about the future. The future is what we want it to be. The future is not going to be created by someone else. So we are younger people, right? You all in here are not 52. You all are, y'all are teenagers, y'all are 20 something, whatever. But the point is, the future is decided by you. So think about your future and make that future and have a voice. Things that you suggested in here, share with people, get involved, get active, but start to plan where you want things to go. Right now, the government is saying there are things we want to do to transform. Be active, be part of it, and take advantage of it. And don't abuse it, but really take advantage and be all that you can be, because the future is bright and we can be Estonia in a couple of years' time. Thanks very much.